Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back. We're going to be doing some more training here in just a sec. How's everyone doing?
I'm good. Thanks for asking, Coasty.
Great.
Ready to train.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I wanted to do. Okay, so yeah, I just wanted to write a quick message for the chat because a lot of people were like asking like, what is this for?
Hmm.
So I'll just pin a
All right.
message.
Everyone who comes in is like, wait, this position looks almost real, but what's going on and who's training? And yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So Christy is training upcoming Chess960 event in Utah.
In that position, it kind of looks like my bishop hopped the D pawn.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I can
Can you
imagine somebody like thinking really hard, like, is that possible? How could he get there? Could it have come around? And no, the B pawn's still there.
Yeah, how did you night hop your own pawn? You know, I'm sure it's very confusing.
You need an even higher membership level on chess.com.
Okay, there we go.
Ooh, you're gonna do a pinned thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna pin it to win it. Great. Um okay. Oh yeah, in the meantime, I wrote to you and Jesse. I'm not totally sure about two of these tactics books.
Oh yeah, yeah, I saw that. I
Um
don't know those books, unfortunately.
yeah, but maybe we can think of a replacement for the
Okay.
like 12 to 1300s. I was also thinking maybe this is something we could ask chat about because people might
Okay.
have books that they know and like. Because we had a hard time just coming up with puzzle books for like this level for some reason because they either are too easy or too hard. Actually, it's hard to find like an intermediate one where it's not just like basic, like really basic one or two move tactics, and it's also not like 1001 chess exercises for club players. Like that
Uh-huh.
gets hard. Like you have to calculate like 3, 4 moves ahead.
Hmm.
And then I did one of the puzzles in it, and I was very confused by it. Actually, I had to look up the game, like, and apparently Joe Bava didn't find the solution either. So that was a tough one.
Okay.
But that was more towards the end of the book. So yeah, 1400 and up, I think we're good.
Hmm.
But yeah, we'll need I think maybe one or two books for 12 to 14.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're great, but like the Reinfeld books are that level. Like 1001 sacrifices, checkmates, etc. Combinations.
Oh, okay, Reinfeld. All right, we can look into those.
I mean, they're not like, you know, no special sauce, but they are, shorter combinations, like 3 moves long with sort of fundamental patterns. None of them are big head scratchers.
Yeah, that's a good idea because they're I see they're also on Chessable. We got 1001 ways to checkmate, 1001 winning sacrifices and combos. This could be
Hmm.
good.
Okay.
I feel like
I mean, I would
it's a
never
good
use the
post.
word good for it, but serviceable.
I saw it had some nice reviews. It was well rated,
Okay.
which I think is important. Okay, so we have three positions. Oh, Kappa says Bane chess tactics for students. Actually, I saw chess tactics for students recently. I would say it was, yeah, it was easier for what I was looking for just now, but I thought that was a pretty good book.
Hmm.
But I think we're covered the lower levels.
Hmm.
Um,
For the single motifs.
yeah.
Hmm.
So already, folks, I have three positions to practice. Yesterday we played two of them.
Hmm.
Um, and I liked what we were doing. I would say maybe we should play until move 15
Sure.
because I felt like move 12 is basically where we started making mistakes. Maybe it'd be
Disagreeing
interesting to play
sometimes.
like three more moves.
Speak for yourself. I made mistakes earlier than that.
um,
Especially on move two when it's like flashing the auto abort at me.
yeah, move two is tough.
That's a real hump to get over.
But yeah, I'll let you pick whichever position you wanna
So
start with.
we could do the third one now, right? That we haven't done yet.
Yeah, yeah. Also known as chess 2, 'cause it's just going to have the bishops and knights switched. So let me set up the challenge here. Okay. So yeah, folks, I mentioned yesterday, but for anyone that wasn't here, I'm playing this 960 tournament soon in Utah in a couple days. And yeah, we're going to be playing basically just three positions with the knights and bishops all messed up. And David and I, we've been doing some opening sparring. So we're going to play out the first 15 moves and then just offer a draw, talk about the position, which was very enjoyable yesterday because it took all the stress off the game. And I felt like I could play any move I wanted to without worrying about losing.
You were never going to lose within 12 moves.
Yeah. So it kind of allowed for a freer experimentation. Oh wait, I gotta change black's pieces too. Okay, and I'll take. Wait, I guess. Okay, great. Hey Patrick, good to see you. Okay, all right, I got 40 seconds here.
Don't get
All right,
sucked in by Patrick.
it's good. It's good. All right.
Night.
Okay, I guess yeah. So I'm the one training, so I'll take my headphones off. David can comment on the game as he pleases. I'll try to focus.
I do please. All right. I think this was a fine move from Coast to here. I'm gonna respond to like. Actually, no need to get too fanciful. And yeah, I'm gonna play the same thing as him, I think. We've got undefended pawns on the knight pawns here, right? Doesn't really look like anything will come of that just yet. So we'll just get a slow opening. I expected this move. Or I mean it was not a surprise. I considered it. Yeah, so I'm just playing a Caro-Kann here. And whether or not he pushes, my bishop's going to be happy here. He can trade, he can push, he can leave it. If I play bishop h7, he can trade, knight takes, and play e6. And it's pretty disruptive because queen h5 check, and yeah, my light squares end up really weak. So first I'm going to block that, and then I'll play this move next. Or at least that's my intention. We'll see what comes. I was also thinking about queen g4 for him last move. And I was going to defend with queen g5, defended by my pawn. I think he'll take on h7 because my knight will be slightly weird over there. My queen could be decent here if I throw in this check, which he maybe didn't pay close attention to. He could play bishop f2, queen f4 castles. It's a not losing pawn sack, but I will also not lose. I will also be surviving that. I expect he's going to do something like queen g4 just to trade down. And obviously I have comfortable equality with a lot of pieces off. That space advantage is not amazing. I've got the light squared bishop traded, which is my theoretically bad bishop. His bishop's pretty bad, so. Okay, he wants to go knight f2 to push me back. Hey, wait a minute. My queen would be trapped. I didn't plan for this at all. Uh, that's that's a shocking horror. A horrorful shock. A dousing with cold water. That it never occurred to me. That's like Chess960, that just some random little thing and you just didn't ever dream the pattern. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, well, it looks like I've only got one way to save the queen. So I'll do it. Swap for price. Can you say moves in chat? Sure, if you really want to. Not engine moves, hopefully, but like your own moves, your own ideas, yeah. Oh man, my position just died. Stupid queen h4. I suppose I should have just kept developing here. Knight here to maybe slow this down. He'll play moves like knight d3, bishop f2, I guess. Can consider g4 if he gets really uppity. He's got a very powerful move here, I think. I mean, knight f2 is pretty obvious and it's pretty good. But I think that he has an even stronger move than knight f2. Okay, he's gone for something else. I'm not totally sure why he didn't play one of the moves I expected. I expected either knight f2 or f5. So this move probably has something devilish to it. He probably saw one or both of those ideas. So why did he do this? What's the plan? Okay, he's gonna go knight f2, queen h5, g4, queen h4, knight g2. Woo! My queen! Ay, ay, ay. Mm-hmm. What? Yeah. What's that? Oh, I'm playing with Kostya. Okay. It was all a misunderstanding, says the Black Queen 6 moves later. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4 or so free moves for white later. Ay, ay, ay. Knight G4, I'd probably play Knight D7, right? It's true, Stan, I do. I do, totally. To the YouTube audience, Stan just said, it's a bit funny. David looks like a beginner player who played his queen out too early. She got chased around while all the other pieces were developed for white and all black's pieces are still in the back rank. No offense, though. And here I was sitting here thinking like, but I can still defend this until Stan pointed that out. It's like, I can make up for what I just did. I can get back in this. Should I bring the queen back out? Huh? 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 Hi, Beso. No, man, now chat's thinking I'm in trouble. You guys are going to tame my optimism. Don't you think I can scrape my way out of this? Yeah, he might even be overextended. That's right. I don't think I'm going to be able to prove it before move 15, unfortunately. Patrick didn't like my whole opening, even before I moved the queen 10 million times. Huh? All right, I made it to move 15. I accept. Chess.com's game reviewer says 0 mistakes, 0 blunders. What do you
Nice.
say to that, chat?
No mistakes.
No mistakes, Ghosty. I didn't make a single one.
Interesting.
What a useful feature that is, that game review.
You played great.
Zero misses, zero blunders, zero mistakes. That means I never had a winning tactic that I missed that game.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Um, I definitely
Well,
liked what I got.
yes. Sorry
Um,
about that.
Actually, this is something I had last year. I remember against Eric, I we had a game that was, I think, a similar structure because he also played this like h6 idea to trade off the bishops.
Hmm.
But still felt like I just got like huge space advantage, and it was just really nice.
Hmm.
Because Black's knights are, I don't know. I mean, I guess you have e7 and d7, but still, it's like knights are funny, and bishop is
Yeah,
funny.
they want even more than that, I think, those nights.
Yeah. Um, so already after e5, I felt like it was pretty good for white.
Oh, that move four?
Yeah, I just feel like this is a good version of French, Caro, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Um,
Well, that's cool. We have a difference of opinion there, which is always useful for getting something going.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
where do you think it
to me,
wins?
Black plays e6, bishop h7, and pretty pretty reasonable.
Oh, I see.
French or Caro, whichever you want it to be.
Okay.
Um, I thought everything was fine until I started moving my queen.
Yeah, so Queen H4 check definitely not right.
Yeah,
Um,
I was surprised by this move, knight d3, which is like a funny example of the chess 960 effect, that like a piece just shows up on a square you don't expect,
yeah.
and it really changes things. I didn't think you had any way to deal with the queen other than queen g4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then yeah, I was happy.
Right. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, but if you don't give the check, what would you play, like knight 97?
uh, yeah, probably 90. Yeah, for sure. 97 was the other move I was thinking of back then.
Mm-hmm. Let's say we play like knight d3.
Hmm. Knight d7,
Say bishop f2.
bishop f2. It's so weird sometimes having to spend extra time on a piece in 960 compared to what you're used to.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, do I have to play a6, bishop a7, or bishop c7, bishop b6, or like what is going on with this piece? Is it that hard to bring out a piece? Um, yeah, I guess a6 I'll play.
Mm-hmm. Let's say castles.
Bishop a7.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, Patrick. My bishop's going to do something. It's going to attack this d4 pawn. Yeah, I think he'll probably play b4.
Yeah, I realized why b4 is helpful.
What's that?
I realized why b4 is helpful. Because I thought black can just go b6.
Hmm.
But then, okay, I can just leave it there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
and then we get more time.
Yeah, well, it sort of helps you bury the bishop on a7, right? With the b6 pawn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think b4, b6, and then
A4.
ideally, what's that?
Then A4.
a4?
So if C5, I can just go B5.
Yeah, there it is. That's what I was
Like,
looking for. b5. I was trying to think what's the best way to do it. I was also thinking about c4.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah,
C4 could be
a4,
good too.
a4 is simple, I guess. a4 is simple. And I can't get that bishop out ever. Beautiful. I mean, for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dang, that b4 move. Okay, so the position is worse than I thought.
I feel like, yeah, all these Frenches are risky, in my
Very
opinion.
hard to get this piece out, even the good bishop.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
White's setup, I mean, here at least is very nice because, like, knight d3, knight e3, bishop f2. This is like uh, almost a classic setup, except the knight would be like on f3.
Mm-hmm.
But on
Oh, these
d3,
are fine squares for your knights. Yeah, these are very
it might
fine.
even be better because it can go to like f4 and you leave the f file open.
Mm-hmm.
And then black hasn't even gotten c5 yet. it's like it's
Mm-hmm.
like a French, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't even play it. Hmm. Okay, well, that was very, very interesting.
Yeah. Keep this b4 thing in mind. Okay, you want to play this again?
Sure.
All right. Man, they really need a way to just rematch with normal colors. Okay, knight, bishop. Okay.
Hmm. Okay, so I'm looking at mainly 96 for Kostya. I was sort of assuming that was his plan when he played c5. Um, we'll see if there's something else to it, and then I'm considering knight b3 and c3 as my responses to that knight move. Against c3, I'm thinking of c4 for him, which looks outlandish, but I'm considering it anyway. But I mean, he could have a surprising move like d5 or something for all I know. Yeah, this looks good to me. Also, against any d pawn move, I've got the queen check now, right? d6, d5, either one. This move here. He goes queen b6. I was planning to play knight b3 with pressure here because then he can't play c4, the bishops on the diagonal with the queen. So I think that would be a mistake. Queen b6. He goes c4 and I go b3 and he goes b5 and I go a4 and he goes d5 and I take. He takes and the bishop comes out and the rook's trapped. Yeah, that's fine for me, all that. Oh man, he went straight for it. Okay, well, I shouldn't. Should never take your opponent too lightly. But queen a4 does look so good. Pawn takes d5, knight f4, knight e3 defends both pawns in general. It's actually chess 3 this year, Elise, but it's the same tournament that Kostya played last year that was chess 18. They've reduced it down to chess 3 for this year. Looks like at the moment Black's weak on these light squares because the light square knights are defending dark squares and the bishop's pretty blocked in. I was looking for a while at bishop f5 check, king to d8, bishop takes c5, knight takes g2, king f2, knight h4, bishop takes c8, king takes c8, bishop takes e7, those kind of variations. But ultimately, they really messed up my pawn structure, so I didn't go for that. And they give up the bishop pair in most lines. That was another reservation. So It had to be really crushing for me to go for something so confrontational and unclear. I don't really expect that he can win back the pawn. But I want a little more than that. I want to take advantage of his king not being able to castle. I want to be plus 1 point something. Yeah, that makes sense. He wants to play f5 with that move. But against g3, I think he loses the best route for that knight. Or he loses some of the pressure on d5 by not immediately going, knight b6 or f6 or something. So I think g3 is right. Knight can't go there, there, there. I could also go knight d3. A simple move, knight takes, bishop takes is good. But knight d3 could also just go f5. Then he's giving me that pawn with check, which is risky for him as well. Yeah. If I go, how bad is his knight? If I go g3, he could go to h3 and just get my bishop pair again. Not my bishop pair. All right, we're not giving the bishop pair, folks. We're going to play boring moves before we play moves that give the bishop pair. g6 stopped bishop f5. Before, his knight didn't have the h3 square. Last move when I was considering, g3, driving it in case of a bad move. While he traded really quickly, I think he may have not realized his bishop was defending his knight to make that little concession so fast. So like him, I could go knight g4, bishop here, knight h6, and trap that bishop pair. I can also throw bishop b5 check, king c7, knight c5, bishop d6, and then I'm sort of walking into a6, b5, d4. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know if that's good or not. I should make some effort here. I think maybe I could go for it. Check there, knight there, bishop's there, d4, b6. Oh, then like bishop c6, and I'm golden. If pawn takes bishop d4, f6. Yeah, let's go for it. This bishop's in the way of my stuff. I don't see a simpler alternative. Like the reason to not play this line is that you see something better, but something simple that's better, but I didn't see something simple that was better. All right, so I'm giving the pawn on d5, bringing out the two rooks, and yeah, once I've got both rooks out, I'm going to have some tactical threats of like knight takes d6, bishop f6 kind of moves. The alternative was to go knight e3, and then I imagine black goes knight b6, developing and trying to take this pawn. I can keep my extra pawn by horribly weakening the dark squares, by trading on b6, for example, and I just don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. My dark squares would be so bad. Whereas I do believe that after bishop d5, rook e1, even though it looks like I just hung my pawn for nothing, I don't really see any good move for the opponent. Well, maybe he could take here, give up the bishop pair, and then play e5. I drop back, and then he tries to like huddle. Like b6 when I can't blockade it. Sure. Yeah, that's reasonable. In that case, maybe I should go bishop d5, knight d6. Oh, it's not happening. One more move to make. Let's just focus up on it for a second. Hmm. Seems like bishop e3 simply keeps my extra pawn. Yeah, I guess I just have to do that.
Already 1-1.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm. You
okay.
overlooked a few moves that game.
Yeah, I'd say so. I was definitely burned by the first two moves.
The first two. Oh, the having to make a move on the second move because of
Yeah, yeah.
auto.
I was not ready yet to meet e4. Because I
Okay.
feel like, well, after 96 c3,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so d5 I think is just bad.
Yeah.
And then, but if I don't go d5, mm, I don't know. I was also considering h6 uh, with the idea d4, cd, cd, and then d5.
Mm-hmm.
But
And how's h6 helping you here?
just trying to get the bishop to h7.
And if I play the same queen a4?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. That's what I also consider. So it doesn't work.
Okay.
Um,
I thought when you played c5 that after f3 your plan must surely be knight e6.
mm-hmm. Yeah. But if knight e6 isn't good, then I don't know what else. So yeah, I guess so in that position, yeah. So queen a4 check, king f8. The problem is ed, queen d5, bishop e4.
Mm-hmm.
Then everything hangs.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally you can go d5 without losing a pawn. Um, just one of those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And even if you weren't going to lose a pawn, I mean, it wouldn't be ideal, right? Because knight e3 or bishop e4 to win a tempo, and then white obviously has a little bit of tempo or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure how bad it is if you
Yeah,
just took on
it
d5.
might not be very bad, but it would be something you could try as white, certainly. Like
Yeah.
you have reason to play.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um we're just sparring. So we've agreed beforehand to just draw on move 15 no matter what. Um I think if I was down a piece or something, I'd probably resign out of shame, but other than that.
You don't have to. I had some shameful positions.
Sorry. Um, so yeah, so c5 then, I'm not sure. Because, okay, I also thought about f3, b6,
Hmm.
but b6 just feels like such a loss in this position.
Mm. Just none of the pieces on that side of the board want that move, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah.
So,
Here's a surprising chess 960 tactic, Kostya. Imagine after b6, d4,
right.
pawn takes d4, queen takes d4,
Mm-hmm.
threatening to trap one rook,
Yeah.
knight e6, queen d5, trying to trap the other one,
Mm-hmm.
knight c7, black holds on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, go black. Oh, but Wesley would play this opening every time, man. I mean, you just go right back to d4 and I mean, what can black do?
Yeah, you could find the draw anywhere. How about bishop takes d4?
Hmm.
And then if knight e6, bishop takes g7,
Oh,
and then queen d5.
and then queen d5, not queen d4 f6, but queen straight to d5.
But I have a
Oh
feeling
man.
this could also lose, you know?
Yeah, if the knight on c8 could move, Kostya, then there'd be queen a8, bishop g3. But the knight's only move is to d6,
Right.
stuffing his own bishop. But, after queen a8, f6, maybe the queen can't get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
And then you got your knight e6, knight c7. So, yeah,
Ah, that stupid knight comes spinning around again.
all kinds of adventures
Knight
possible.
e3, knight e6, knight d5.
Okay, so if not c5,
Yeah.
what else could be a move? e5?
I mean, you know me, I would have played the Caro, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I think e5 looks reasonable as well. Um,
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't go e5 actually. I don't know what I would be afraid of here. Thank you for the
yeah, that
raid.
that looks reasonable right there.
Okay.
Oh, hey Alex, thank you.
All right. I'll try this one next time. Folks, we're practicing
Yeah.
some chess 960. Um, okay. I think I have time for one more game. Do you want to do this one again
Mhm.
or
Sure.
okay. Try it again.
The start position looks so close to real chess, and yet it's still so awkward.
Yeah. It's very I feel like it's harder for black actually.
Yeah, it's like tricky with those two hanging knight pawns, undefended pawns, uh, and like super awkward things tend to favor white because there's more
Hmm.
chance of having some kind of tactical juice that puts the opponent off balance. Like those other positions we played yesterday with the bishops and knights on one side or another, it was like Slav, super solid. What can you do?
Yeah. Yeah, those positions felt a lot drier. Which is interesting. Okay, here we go.
This one's a little painful for black. Little painful. Okay. If he goes e4, folks, I'm going to try out that e5 move we just mentioned.
I'll stick with d4.
No, he sticks with d4. All right. So last time I played d5, and then he set up that French, and it turned out to be pretty good for him. So can we mess with that at all? Oh wait, it's about to auto warp me. I I was looking at 1c5 that whole time, Patrick. Yeah, I don't know if it's too crazy or not, but I was trying to look for something a little different. I mean, the bishop's on g1. That's pretty discouraging to go and do that. All right. So let's try and deal with his little e4 machination this time. Let's make it a little harder for our friend. Ay, ay, ay. It's so hard for black. Okay. It's gonna e4. It's just going to e4. All right. Yeah, my main move was knight d6, Patrick, but I came up with another concept. Keep my queen's influence for another move and my bishop. I'm not going to commit. Knight d6 is very committal because it kind of blocks up your stuff. Your stuff being your other pieces. Yeah, playing chess 960 improves your standard skills for chess. Absolutely. Oh, cool. You're glad to hear it. We loved it too. I mean, not like in the sense like we don't know if it's a good show for other people or anything like that, but just like we enjoyed doing it. All right, so Costa is kind of choosing between e4, f3, and some knight moves. Probably not this one. He's going to be looking at knight g3, f3, e4, and he goes for e4. My plan is to take. Then hit him with the knight d6 pseudo tempo. I haven't played c5, so I'm not dead to any queen a4 stuff that I know of. I can play c6. Okay, so he just backs up Calmolini. So now if he gets his next move, it's just going to be like maybe knight d3. I play calm. I'm just going to go for my original idea. I'm going to let loose, let it rip. So he could take on g6 to win a pawn. I'm going to take shockingly with the F pawn to let the bishop out, because if I go HG, it lets the rook out, but the bishop's got a really slow path, I think. So I'll play FG, takes, and then either knight C4 or queen E7. I don't have clear compensation. It's just wild. Maybe I have queen G5, sacking the knight, pawn takes knight, queen G2. Oh, there's knight G3 saving the rook. It's not really trapped. No, Chess960 is not going to be part of the training program. Just a fun thing. Takes. Bishop G6, FG6, DE5, Queen G5, E takes knight, Queen G2, Knight G3. No follow-up. Yeah. Okay, so takes. Knight C4, Queen D8, King D8, Knight D3. It's a little bit meh, right? So Queen E7, Queen E2. Bishop C4, because if knight here, still knight here. C6, F4. Okay, he doesn't go for it. He was scared. I would have been scared too from his side. If I take, what's he taking with the bishop, right? I think this move's pretty good. I'm not going to overthink it because it's, in theory, a rapid game. I still got this counter to here. Oh, I'm just good because I got knights out before him. I think black's good this opening. This move here, it threatens pawn takes with like the check, right? But if he goes queen e2, I have knight f4 with almost certainly advantage for black. If he goes knight e3, I can take and the bishop can't get out. He can take with the queen. It's not disastrous for him. It's fine. But I can also potentially, depending on what he does, follow up with f5 next move, intimating that I want to push and letting this bishop out. Or I can just play tame f6 and, develop and castle. For now, I don't love the move c6, so I'm not thinking too hard about playing c6. I'm thinking more about castling this way. I thought that if last move I played f5, white could just take on e5, knight e5, and then they get a tempo on the undefended piece on e5. Maybe bishop d4, looking at my g7 square, something like that. So that's how I came up with queen e7. And if he takes, I take with the knight. And then maybe their queen e2 is fine. I go f6. And I'm super fine as well. f4, I've got bishop c4. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable with this move. Queen h4 check, white would have bishop f2, so that wouldn't have been a good move. That would have been like how I played the first game. And you can see on his clock, probably the Coast is not finding this opening easy for white. Nice, kind words from Roll Tux. In general, folks, I like to hold this tension if I can and make threats and get the opponent to resolve the tension, not me. Right? Like you can see if I took on d4, Kostya played bishop takes d4, that's improving Kostya's position, right? Okay, so knight here, that blocks in the bishop, right? And now I could take queen takes, and she hits here. Doesn't seem to help me really, right? So other options are c6 and f6, just, the simple moves. Knight f4 shouldn't work with all my bishops trapped. Takes, queen takes, knight d3, knight check, king here, and then my queen's attacked. What I have to realize is I'm not ahead in development. I've got two pieces out versus two, but his bishop can move. Both of my bishops need pawn moves, so he hasn't wasted any time with his pawn moves. He's doing plenty good here. Can I go f5? Something aggressive there? He hasn't wasted. He's just gonna play calmly, I think. Oh, he's got knight d5 if I play something stupid. But all my moves actually stopped it. I didn't notice it, but all the moves I was considering, c6, f6, and f5, they all stopped knight d5. Oh, so my queen move wasn't that effective, maybe. If I play f5, yeah, he could take on f5 twice, and then I play e takes d4, check, and I get my pawn back. Bishop takes f5 to start, and oh, and then pawn takes d4. You want to take here with check? I suppose, maybe. I think I just have to keep developing here. Nothing too fancy. The fancy move would be e4, but it burns a lot of energy. Pawn takes, knight f5. Queen moves somewhere, rook e1, and knight on e4 has to go. He's begging me to play knight f4 and get a tempo on his queen. I don't know what's wrong with Kostya today. Just begging for it, more or less. Ay, ay, ay. What happened? He used to be so solid. 3 minutes, make about 5 moves. All right, so the point here is he takes, defended by the queen and the bishop, and then he's got a really good center, and I resign. Stan has a great plan. I could wait till move 15 And then on move 15, I could play knight f4 and see if Ghost still agrees to a draw. Yeah, Patrick, if I'd played bishop e6 earlier on, white could play bishop takes g6, h takes g6, d takes e5, and I've got 3 isolated pawns, you know? So knight f4, kick the queen. It's on a reasonable square. Then I get knight e4. He doesn't have time to, rook e1 and knight f5 and all that stuff, me. Um, so so I get these knights. I've given him the better center, but me some play towards the king side where he doesn't have a lot of pawn cover. It's dynamic and it's probably not advantageous for me, but it's not bad either. I get the bishop pair out of it, I think, and then just keep playing from there. The bishop pair. All right, going after b7. Good luck with that, as I like to say. I really want to go to g6 and just attack the king side. And if he wants that b pawn, maybe say it's his. Oh, I've only got a minute to calculate what I'm calculating. Jeez. Jeez Louise. Oh, and I'm off to a bad start. What I was calculating was an absolute hallucination. But I do just believe in it, so I'm giving that b pawn. Who cares? I should just play it faster. Oh, that's move 15. I could have thought another minute there, I guess, about whether or not to really go for it. 0 mistakes, 0 blunders, 0 misses. All right.
Oh man, I made a mistake.
You did?
I made one mistake. Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
don't
see if we can figure out which one.
worry. Meaningless.
Yeah, that was an interesting game.
Yeah. I mean, I was scared to sack that b7 pawn, but my heart was saying go, go, go.
In this final position, I was probably just gonna go bishop g3 anyway,
Okay.
on either queen e7 or queen g6.
Uh-huh. Just trying to break up my bishop pair.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Um,
No wonder Jesse always calls you a jerk. My bishop pair.
yeah, I mean, maybe I have knight d7 as well, which I didn't notice, but
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that either. That's a move.
yeah. But I think knight d7 doesn't change much because you probably can go knight h3, knight f2,
Mm-hmm.
and then
And then rook e8 with a slight advantage for black.
yeah, yeah. Here I think
So
black
you're just better
is
off going
okay.
bishop g3.
Yeah, so I don't like that. Bishop g3, I thought I'm doing fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be pretty close to zeros. I imagine. I don't know. Guessing.
Yeah. Well, it's still a little bit concrete because I'm gonna take on b8.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Right. So you go bishop g3. I
yeah.
have a choice between knight h5 or d5, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know which is better. Um, uh, Okay, let's say knight d5.
Mm-hmm. Then bishop b8.
Mm-hmm.
Rook f.
Let me think 1 second. I might want to trade your knight in case knight f5 is a good move.
Yeah, I was gonna go knight f5.
You were, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sneaky.
So you go knight e3.
Yeah, I think I'll go knight e3 and avoid that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, and then maybe you can even go rook a b8.
I'm going to, yeah. And if you save your bishop, I'll take on f1.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you probably go queen e3, rook a b8.
Mm-hmm. And then yeah, you're at least fine. Maybe more than fine.
Yeah.
Hmm. So queen g6. Okay, on queen g6, if I take the b pawn,
Hmm. I don't know. I didn't really have any kind of plan. I had a lot of moves I considered,
mm-hmm.
but I didn't really know what I was going to do. Um, maybe. Okay, so I looked at bishop d5, knight h3, queen h5, and queen h6.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I thought that somehow I had like bishop d5, bishop g3, knight takes g2 because of a pin on your queen on this diagonal. And then I realized my queen's back on g6 because I looked at queen h6 first.
Yeah.
I couldn't really calculate it, so I just went with my instinct here. Was your instinct your instinct was not to take the pawn, right? So,
Yeah, definitely not. I didn't have a clear reason why. Looking at it, I just didn't have a lot of time. Looking at it now, maybe queen h5 is annoying. Because on bishop g3, you have knight e2 check.
oh, that's the key. That's the
Yeah.
key.
Bishop g3 is definitely the move I want to play in every position.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, yeah.
looks very scary. I mean, maybe I can still go h3, but still, at least.
Hmm. And then if
Yeah.
I take on h3,
I would just take twice.
uh,
Yeah.
bishop e1.
e1. Hmm.
Hmm. Okay, so I need one more good move here. Huh?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe h3. Just go queen g6 back, and then here your next move could be bishop d5.
Okay, so queen back, king h1, right?
Yeah, and then bishop d5 there.
Bishop d. Oh, because now there's no bishop g3 because the pawn's moved. So we pile up. Looks brutal.
Yeah. Okay, so intuition I think was correct, not to not to
Yeah.
grab this pawn. Um, okay, I wonder where I let it slip then, because I thought I was doing reasonable.
Well, queen d3 was maybe not good
Yeah, I didn't.
because e4 was pleasant for black,
I didn't see e4.
weirdly. Yeah.
Um,
I did see it though.
yeah, that's the problem.
No, I mean,
Maybe I should go something else.
I was sort of feeling like I got a bet. I got like, I was much happier with this kind of opening than last time, let's say. But
Mm-hmm.
I got that knight d6 move and then e5. And I thought the critical variation would be you taking that pawn sack too, but I sort of just believed in it for myself. I didn't have anything concrete either.
Oh yeah, knight d6 in the open, or yeah, after e5. Yeah, you mean taking on g6 and stuff?
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that just looked like I'm gonna get hit with knight c4 and well, I guess I'll have knight d3.
Won't you have queen d8?
Yeah, queen d8 and knight d3.
Yeah.
And but even this, I could imagine black having some compensation.
Mm, My rooks aren't. Nobody's hitting your knight on d3 fast enough.
Yeah.
I was gonna play queen e7.
Oh, okay.
That's as far as I'd figured out. And then I thought queen e2,
Mm-hmm.
and against knight c4, you have knight d3. So it's still very unclear, but I've got a little more punch with the queen on the board,
Mm-hmm.
and just mainly because I can also castle, right? So I can
Yeah.
coordinate a little faster. And I was thinking about maybe going bishop c4, um, queen e3.
Oh wait, you
And
already have f6 in?
I have fg. If you took on g6, I was taking fg.
Oh, fg. Oh, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
development.
Pardon me.
That was
Right.
fine. It was a surprise to me too when I realized that I should play FG, um, but there it is. Um, Patrick Daly wants to take the knight on C4.
Yeah. And that was my assumption too.
Um, yeah, I was thinking maybe like somehow bishop C4. Oh, here it is. I found the Wesley So solution, Kostya. Bishop C4, Queen E3. You
Uh-huh.
see it too, right? Knight F5,
Nice.
Queen E4, Knight D6,
Amazing.
and black holds.
Find a draw on any line.
Boom! I don't know. So I wasn't totally sure about this sacrifice, but there it is.
Yeah. I don't know. It felt fine. Or I'm not sure, but yeah. No stand. Queen was hanging there on e4. I hope, unless there's like bishop, bishop hiding somewhere. Um, okay. Well, I think gotta run,
Oh, right. It's time.
but
Um,
yeah. Thanks for.
yeah, cool games, but I feel like that
Oh,
defense for Black Ostia was much closer to reasonable that game.
oh yeah.
Like my pieces were coming out reasonably fast. I got this E5 pawn in the center. I didn't feel like I was under like special pressure. I mean, other than it was complicated and you can like blunder at any moment in chess 960, but I thought like I had a chance at the game.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It's interesting when there's a early skirmish in the center
Hmm.
because it seems like if white wants to get something, you have to be very precise about it.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
you have to be willing to skirmish. I mean, if you think about normal chess opening, compare it, right? In normal chess openings, there's a fair amount of skirmishing. You don't feel as nervous about it because like you know where the pieces are coming from and like you've seen them before, so it like feels a little bit more in control, where here it feels like really out of control.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, skirmishing, you have to be willing to do it. Like I had to be willing to sack pawns that game without being sure.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Got to be willing to battle. Um. Yeah. Oh. If we go back. Yeah. So it was bishop c4. Oh, and bishop c4 taking on d6. Yeah. Actually, we didn't think about that.
Where's that?
In that pawn sack line where you wanted to play bishop c4, queen e3, knight f5.
Oh, because your queen's defended by the knight. I
Oh,
thought I had queen e2 checkmate if you took on d6.
yeah. Good call. Good call, Stan.
You see how accurate my variations are.
Yeah, 960 is tough. Um, yeah, Patrick, I do think the center is is still important, at least in 960. I feel like I always see players fighting for the center, regardless of where the pieces start. And
Hmm.
you can even play like f3 and c3 and make it happen in brutal ways. So yeah, I don't know. Actually, I feel like that's why it's more dangerous for black, because I feel like you can just easily get into like a bad French or something and just have no space and not know how to like fight against it.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, the options for developing the bishops from the knight one squares are just a little more limited than from the bishop one squares.
Yeah.
So if something goes wrong, they can get stuck in this particular position.
Yeah. Okay. I gotta run.
Yep.
David, did you want to stream or something, or
It's
you good?
after it's 11 o'clock. I'm still catching up on candidates, so I'll go to
All right.
bed um, after I register for the Munich Open.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah.
Alrighty, then we'll raid.
Yeah. So Stan and anyone else German who's watching right now, see you in Munich. Let's all go to Munich and play chess.
Yeah, Munich Open.
München, München.
Exciting.
Something like May 25th to June 2nd, plus or minus a day.
All right, see you, folks.